Howdy folks, this is BelGeode. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator and this is a test. Another one of my chill vids, and this time I wanted to showcase an aircraft that I've actually had for a little while. In fact, it's even been out for a little while. But I hadn't had the opportunity to really hop into it and check it out. So this is actually going to be my first time flying it. Can't promise we'll do everything by the books, but we'll at least give it a shot. Now, first off, let's get it out of the way. Huge thank you to SimWorks Studios for the review copy of this aircraft. And also huge thanks to SimWorks Studios for the BelGeode livery that you created. This is not the BelGeode livery. I couldn't get it installed properly in time. Yeah, I know, I'm a slacker. It happens. In any event, the aircraft that you're looking at today is the SimWorks Studios Vans RV-10. Now, I know there are a lot of Vans fans, shall we say, in my viewing audience, so you all should be pretty pleased, but try not to crucify me too much because, like I said, I am just now hopping into this thing. I haven't really had an opportunity to go in depth with like the manual or anything, and at least I'm going to try and use the checklist, so hopefully that will help me out here. But yes, Vans RV-10. Beautiful looking bird, as we come to expect from SimWorks Studios. They never disappoint when it comes to the quality of their aircraft. And the performance in VR is pretty good too, which is a huge plus for me, considering the fact that this channel is all about VR. Whether it be VR aviation or just VR gaming in general, with things like Skyrim VR. Alright, but what are we doing today? Well, we are currently at a default airport. We are in Jersey, the island of Jersey, just off the coast of France, just south of the English Channel. And as I stated, this is a default airport. I know there are options out there that you can purchase, but I really didn't want to get anything for the departure airport because the more important airport is going to be the arrival airport today. The arrival airport is going to be Alderney, which is by Inibuilds. And that one I do have. That one I purchased. I took a look at what they had posted on Twitter and fell in love with the pictures. And I'm like, yes, I have to have this. This is where we're flying this week. So that's where we're going. All right. But first and foremost, before we get started here in Jersey, let's check out the external cameras. Alright, so our first external camera, pretty stock standard. It's above and behind the bird, and you can see I'm literally sitting on the tail right now. This livery, by the way, harkens back to like World War II. You may recognize the little logo there, or roundel on the wing. It is the AVG livery. This is one of the stock liveries. This is the most exciting of the stock liveries. So even though we're just off the coast of France and it doesn't really fit, I like it because I like camo liveries. Actually, I just like any weird liveries. And like I said, I couldn't get the BelGeode livery to work in time, so this will have to do. All right, second camera. So the second camera, again, pretty stock standard. Kind of like the BelGeode landing cam, except very offset. We'll try to use this one because I'm sure you'll be able to see the exhaust coming out the bottom there. And of course you can see the flaps, which normally the flaps do droop when everything is turned off. So there we go. Look at that though. Let's just take a second here. I'm actually going to turn around in my seat. Sorry for the jiggling camera there. But look at the pins and look at the linkages here. You see the bolts and everything, the washers. That is what I'm talking about, folks, when I say that SimWorks Studios goes above and beyond when it comes to their modeling. This looks real. That looks like a lock nut and everything. Everything about this just looks incredibly realistic. You done did good, SimWorks Studios. You done did good, as per usual. All right, next camera. So this is our next camera, which is on top of the starboard wing, so you can really get to see the reflections and everything in there. One thing I do notice though with the reflections, it doesn't reflect the actual people inside the cockpit, or at least if it does, I don't see them. Can you see Kara? Point her out on the screen if you can see Kara. But I don't know. Maybe she is in there. Yeah, possibly. Okay, but yeah, as you can imagine, your standard wing camera. And then you can see the little AVG logo there. Normally you would see that on like a P40. Since we've already flown a couple of P40s, might as well continue the theme, huh? As far as this livery goes. Next camera. Now this is the reverse BelGeode landing cam. And I have to admit, I don't like it. I'm just going to be honest here. I don't like it. Yes, I get it. The point is to see the exhausts and all of that good jazz. But you didn't put one facing the forward way, which is what I really admire. I'm not going to sit here looking backwards on the aircraft, especially if I'm hand flying it. It's just not going to work for me. But that's just me. I can probably alter the cameras.cfg. Some people might like this. It might make for good screenshots. We'll test it out while we're flying. We'll see what it looks like. Next camera. Now this camera I actually like. This could be a good substitute for the BelGeode landing cam in my opinion, because it's under the tailplane here. You can see the little hook so you can tie your aircraft down. I like this. I like this view. It's still offset though, and I really, really like cameras that are straight down the center line looking forward. That's the quote-unquote official BelGeode landing cam. But I'm not gonna complain too much to SimWorks Studios about it, because like I said, I can always modify any of these cameras in the cameras.cfg file. And I'll always send it to the developer if they decide they want to include it in a future update. They most certainly can. It is their aircraft after all. All right, and then we have this camera. Now, normally I poo-poo on cameras like this because number one, you see where it's got our head facing. We're in VR, we are now fixed looking at an angle and down at basically Kara's shoulders. It really should be like that. And I understand why they do that, you know, cinematic purposes or whatnot, but yeah, and I know I really love SimWorks Studios, and it seems like I'm just complaining for no apparent reason. But yeah, some of these camera angles I'm not a huge fan of, and that's just the way it is. But the good thing that I will say about this camera is they do reference the internal camera instead of the external camera. I have shown some developers aircraft before where they've had cameras like this, but they're referencing the external of the plane and just basically push the camera so it looks like it's inside the cabin. No, this one actually is inside the cabin. So when the doors close and the engine's going, it will sound like you're in the plane, except you're just seated really funny. But like I said, I'm not going to complain too much. And then we're back to this camera. All right, so for the purposes of our flight, we'll leave it on this camera for now, and then we'll switch through all the various cameras as time goes on. But let's head into the office. Okay, so the first thing I can tell you is I love the DeLorean doors on this thing where they just like go up. I guess they call them gull-wing doors. I think that's the technical terminology for it. It's a van, so it's got all the various creature comforts that you come to expect in a van. It is one of those aircraft that a lot of owners do tend to modify and pretty much make it their own. And I greatly admire that about what Vans does and about what Vans users do with their aircraft to completely customize it. This, of course, has a glass cockpit. You're not going to find the traditional gauges and so on and so forth. It even has, check this out, a glove box. So we can open the glove box, right? And you see this little thing, this little business card looking thing? It's a brochure. So look at that. It folds out and it shows you all of the various things. Now, I don't believe it does much more than that. Like if I try to click on it, it's really not going to do anything. So I'm thinking this might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity here. Maybe you could tie in some of the extra functions, like maybe hiding Copilot for those that don't want to see their own Copilot. That is not me, by the way. I do want to see Kara. But yeah, that could be a thing that could be done. But either way, it's just a fun little thing. You see it says Aerosport Products. I wonder if that number is real. Anybody want to call that number and find out for me? Looks like it's in Ohio. I think that's an Ohio area code, so yeah. All right, so let's put away the brochure. That's so cool. You don't often see stuff like that. That's really neat. And we'll close the glove box. All right, it is drizzling a little bit, so I'm not sure if we're going to be stuck in an IFR flight here, but we'll at least try. We'll try to avoid the clouds. Lock the door. There we go. Okay, now it is time for the checklist. So we'll pop that open there. Now, I will remind you, as far as weather goes, I'm using custom weather. I am not using real-world weather. So pretty much I set this up ahead of time, and it's pretty much going to be the same. Okay, before starting the engine, all electrical equipment is off. We can verify that. Throttle is closed. I have my hand on it right now, so yes, it is. Mixture is lean. So we've got mixture and we've got prop levers right there, and yes, they are all the way to the back. That seems lean to me. Same thing, prop RPM. Oh, they want that max RPM. All right, well, we can do that. I will remind you, I use a rotary on the side of my vertical throttle for both my prop pitch and my mixture. I find it just works easier for me that way rather than using a lever. All right, fuel tank selector. Open and left or right. Well, let's start with the left tank. This is our selector here. There we go, just like that, left tank. If we wanted to put it to right tank, we would do that. And then, of course, that's back to off. So there we go. We'll keep it on the left tank, and if need be, we'll switch it from left to right. All right, standby battery switch on. That is this little guy here, I believe, if I'm not too mistaken. Backup master bat. There we go, that is on. Check amps and volts. I'm not 100% certain how I would do that because it's only giving me the PFD here. But we're going to assume everything is okay, so we'll go there. Standby bat switch off. Okay. Wait, what is this here? Is that a standby battery? No, that just says battery master. Okay. Alternator, alternator. Okay. So we have that switch off, and now we want battery switch on. So we'll turn that on. Again, check amps and volts. I can't really because I don't see any of that in there. And to be honest with you, I haven't really checked any of these buttons to see what we can do with them. If you happen to know how you would check that, by all means, chime in the comments, as always. I'm usually very much open to being schooled. All right, so we got that. That's done. Fuel pump on, throttle 1/4 inch. Okay, so fuel pump is U. Throttle's open 1/4 inch. Mixture to rich. And I like that you can hear variances in the fuel flow. So let's set that, let's set that, let's set that. Fuel pump off. Throttle close. Then open 1/4 inch. Okay. Prop lever to max, mixture to lean. Okay. All right, there we go. Magnetos to both. Prop area clear, and magnetos to the start position, then back to both. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward as far as starts go. So we're going to be checking the oil pressure and the engine gauges. Now here's my thing. We don't have any of the stuff that we need to see for the engines, so I'm thinking I may need to to turn this on, Avionics Master, which should give me the engine gauges. Yeah, see, here are the engine gauges right here. All right, and I don't want to wait too long, so we'll go ahead and start. So, mags up, clear. Oh boy. Oh, you know what? My mixture. I need to pull the mixture up. Let's try that again, shall we? Clear. Okay, that's a good start right there. All right, I'm going to set my CDI. There we go. And we'll get our GPS and everything up and running. Okay. All right, oil pressure, engine gauges, yada, yada, yada. Oil PSI is in the green. Temperature looks good. Fuel, we've got about 70%. RPM is currently at 898. Okay, feeling good about that. After start, we're probably going to want to check the mixture as required. Pull the mixture back a little bit because I'm idling a little low. Alternators, check both on. Oh, they're on now. And Avionics Master Switch is already on. Lights as required. And let's go ahead and put our lights on. Alright, nav lights, we'll get you on. Taxi lights, we'll get you on. And panel lights maybe? Yeah, let's get some panel lights on. Overhead lights, this is cool. Look at that. These little LED lights there. That's neat. I like that. I like that. Rear map lights and footwell lights are already on. Why are the footwell lights on? I don't know, but okay, I'll take it. At least I can see my shoes. Alright, flaps up. Flaps should be up. Okay. Yep, flaps are now up. Alright, elevator trim is set. You know, I don't actually see trim controls in here, but I'm going to assume that they're probably set to neutral trim by default. Alright, and altimeter, we need to set that. What does it say? 29.9 or 2? Whoa, that's a jump. 29.80. Okay, okay. And we will test the brakes momentarily. Okay, so engine run up. We'll deal with all of that a little bit later, assuming I remember. All right, Kara. I may need you to take control of my comms here, so let's check that really quick. Yeah, I thought as much. Okay. There you go. You are now in charge of comms, please. Alright, so we want Jersey ground. And tell them we are departing straight out, even though we're going to be going to the north.
Jersey ground, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo with Oscar request taxi for takeoff, departing straight out.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo taxi 2 and hold short of runway 26 via taxiway Alpha Alpha for Alpha Alpha 3 Alpha Alpha 2 Alpha Alpha 1 cross runway 26 Golf.
Good grief.
Contact tower on 125.205 when ready.
Yeah, about all of that.
Taxi 2 and hold short runway 26 via taxiway Alpha Alpha 4 Alpha Alpha 3 Alpha Alpha 2 Alpha Alpha 1 cross runway 26 Golf Alpha Golf Bravo.
Okay. So I have no idea what any of that was all about, but okay, that sounds good to me. All right, let me set up our altitude. So, let's see. Flight level climb. Okay, this is the actual autopilot here. Yaw damper we're going to want to turn on. Okay, altitude should be on my Virpil, so we'll set ourselves up for, we'll go to about 2,000 feet. I think that should be fine. We don't need to get that high because we're not going very far. All right, we got pitot heat, avionics, fuel pump switch. We'll leave the fuel pump switch off for the time being until we're ready to head out. We are currently pointing pretty much to the south, and we need to be taking off to the west. So we can zoom in our nifty little map here and see if we can figure out which runway it is we need to get to. Okay, so they told us to take off on, what, 26? So that's going to be on that end, which means we're going to need to turn around. So brakes off. We're moving forward. We'll test the wheel brakes. There we go. Good brakes. Give her a little bit of power and turn her around. So not bad so far. This is pretty much what I've come to expect from SimWorks Studios. They always do a really good job when it comes to modeling the aircraft. I'm pretty sure that they do have contracts, I guess you would say, with the companies that they work with, so like vans and so on and so forth. So when they do a rendition of an aircraft, you can be pretty certain that it's going to be close to the real thing, if not exactly like the real thing. I like that. I like that because that gives me a more realistic view of what it would be like to fly something like this. Bearing in mind, of course, I am not a licensed pilot. I just have a few hours of a Cessna. That's basically it. That's the full extent of my flight career. But I do have a lot of flight sim experience, which I know doesn't count for anything really in real life. But it does help me as far as trying to evaluate aircraft like this to see how well the developer was able to pull it off. Would be easier if I did have experience in any of the vans, aircraft, real world, but unfortunately, since I don't, we gotta do what we gotta do, I guess. But I will say this, does it feel great? Absolutely. Absolutely it does. I have zero issues with this aircraft whatsoever. It feels like I would expect an aircraft of this caliber to feel like. Alright, so we're getting close to the end here. Let's quickly go to the outside view and work our way down to the end of the runway. Okay, here we go. Runway 26. Kara, you ready to do your thing? Oh, look. There's a cathedral over there. That's neat. Alright, Kara, contact the tower, please.
Cleared for takeoff runway 26 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Okay. I didn't quite hear that, but that's okay. Alright. Let's set everything up here. So we need to make sure that we are transponder. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to change that to 7000. Enter. And it's currently on standby, so we're going to put it to Alt. Now, it's not going to be a very long flight. So hopefully we should be able to get this done in probably about half hour-ish. Alright, I'm going to zoom this out a bit. There we go. You can see the beautiful island of Jersey. And if we zoom out even further, now you can start to see France. And you can see our destination right there, which is Alderney. Alright, I'm going to zoom this back in a couple more notches. So right there. Okay, now let's get the rest of our lights on. Strobe lights. Landing lights. We'll keep the wigwags off, but we will turn on our pitot heat. Okay, next stop 2,000 feet and heading north. I'm going to get our mixture to full, make sure our prop pitch is in full. I know we could do the engine run up. The only reason why I am foregoing it is sometimes the knob that I use for the magnetos is a little fiddly. So I might mean to switch us to right mag instead of left mag, but it'll just do its own thing. But we can assume the mags are working. Mags are doing their magly goodness, shall we say. Alright, so we're pretty much ready to go. So you know what it's time for, folks. Brakes down. Throttles up. We'll lock us in about 90% throttle. So right at the line. And let's see how well she flies. Oh, we are right about there. So we'll pull her back nice and easy. We don't have to worry about gear in this one. We don't have flaps out because we're at a very long runway. You can see we still have quite a bit of runway to go. So yeah, just like that, we're up. We're airborne. We're doing good. And we'll go to the outside view, and I have no idea what that was. That just happened there. Just like that, we are almost at 2,000 feet. So let's go ahead and get the autopilot set up here. So I want master autopilot on, I want nav on, and let's see if it's going to do what it needs to do. Well, it's going to get us to 2,000, so that at least is good. It's in a wings level mode, which I do not want. You know what? Let's put it in a heading mode. There we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And we're just about at 2,000 feet. Kara, if you could do me the honors, please. We don't want to touch and go. We don't want a full landing. Why are we even doing any of that? Okay, hold off for now, Kara. We'll figure out how to contact the center. In the meantime, we'll take a look at the world around us. Now that I've got the autopilot on, we can go to the drone camera, which is always fun.
Leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Jersey Tower, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo frequency change. Jersey approach November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo is type 5 miles northwest of Jersey, 2,000 feet. Request flight following.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo Jersey approach. Squawk 5756.
Squawk 5756 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Alpha Golf Bravo radar contact 5 miles northwest of Jersey, 2,000 feet. Altimeter 29.80.
Roger Alpha Golf Bravo.
Gotta admit, I really love it. It feels perfect as far as experimental aircraft go, or as I like to call them, mini GA. The kind of stuff that I would love to be able to fly in real life. It feels awesome. It's got all the creature comforts to make it very easy to fly, very modern. Yeah, this is the kind of plane that I am pretty sure a good majority of private pilots can actually sink their teeth into and fly around with great ease. I like that. I like that a lot. That is really awesome. All right, let's continue switching through the external cameras, and eventually we'll come back into the cockpit. And I guess you can see the reflection of Kara in the wing there, which is really cool. That is, in fact, really flippin' cool. I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, there's just really minor complaints, and a lot of them have to do with, you know, the various camera angles and whatnot. Other than that, as far as the functionality of the bird goes, I really can't complain about this at all. To me, it feels like I would expect a Vans to feel like. And I do like that. Now, I do have a question mark as to whether or not we are actually following the GPS route. Because even though I have it set to heading mode here, it does not actually appear to be following the GPS route. It says GPS, but it doesn't seem to be doing it. So let me try nav.
Alpha Golf Bravo, contact Guernsey approach on 128.655.
Alright, Kara, handle that, please. I'm going to have to manually take over this thing here.
128.655 for Alpha Golf Bravo. Guernsey approach, November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo 2,000 feet.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, Guernsey approach altimeter 29.80, continue as planned.
Oh, you know what? I should have on my yaw damper. Should have done that before takeoff. Let's see. Everything else appears to be good to go. I don't want heading select. I do want nav, however. Yeah, it should be where it should be. It's on GPS. My CDI does say GPS, but it doesn't appear to be tracking me properly. Now, to be honest with you folks, I don't believe that is necessarily a bug with this aircraft. I'm going to chalk that up to user error. As I stated in the beginning of this video, I really haven't had a whole heck of a lot of experience with this bird. So, that having been said, I guess we'll take what we get with it, huh? Alright, we're in wings level mode, so I'm going to go heading select. No. Okay, what about the flight director? The flight director should be on. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Now we are in GPS. So it looks like we actually needed to be closer to the magenta line. Flight director is on, and flight director is directing us exactly where we need to go. That's fine for me. Let's see how far we have to go. Let's see, 5 minutes and change. About 12 nautical miles away from Alderney. So yeah, not too shabby. We should get there in short order. In fact, we should start seeing it relatively soon, too. Now, one of the things that I really like about this airport that we're going to is the fact that Inibuilds has opted to do the entire island, not just the airport itself. I love when developers do that, especially if, you know, it is an island, so that they can just focus on getting everything right, as opposed to doing something on the mainland where they would do the airport plus maybe like 5 miles out from the airport. That's why I like flying into islands. You'll notice a lot of these videos that I do, we're actually flying into island airports and so on, because typically those developers do tend to focus on getting the entire package right. Inibuilds is no exception when it comes to this airport. So here's what we're going to do to prove that theory. When we start getting a little bit closer to the airport, since I'm pretty certain we're going to need to land to the west, what we'll do is we'll break right and we'll go around the island once before actually getting into the traffic pattern. So that way I can look out my left window here and I can show you what Alderney itself looks like. And I believe I am starting to see it coming up right about now. Yep, just beyond the rainbow. Awesomeness. All right, let's quickly go to the outside view as we make our way in. And once we get back into the cockpit, I'll bring us down to roughly about 1,000-ish feet. And we can do some sightseeing before we do our approach. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is Alderney Island. And let me zoom us back in just a touch more. Okay, there we go. All right, now, the real question is going to be, can I manipulate our autopilot here to get down to 1,000 feet? So, I want that. Altitude select. And we'll start bringing her down. Pull the power back a bit here. But look at that. There it is. There it is. Alright, we're coming down at 200 feet per minute. There we go. About 500 feet per minute, roughly. It says 450, but we should be fine with that. And I'm just going to pull the power back here as we make our way in. But look at that. Tell me that is not beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. I love when developers do this. Alright, now I'm actually going to influence our altitude. So we're going to bring her down to about 1,500. And as I said, we're going to brake right. So the airport is literally in front of us right now. You can probably see it there through the propeller. But yeah, that's where we're landing. Alright. 1,600 feet. 15. And let's go ahead and level out. Alright, right there's good. Let's get the autopilot off. And here we go. So there's our destination airport. That is Alderney. And look at the little village and everything. That is just sheer awesomeness. Yeah. Sometimes when Inibuilds put stuff together, they just absolutely drop my jaw, basically. That's just amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. The entire island looks dang near flawless. Wow. Alright, so let's go around the tip of the island here and then we'll hang a left. I'm going to trim us up a little bit here because we are still falling. I like how the electric trimmers sound too. That's kind of cool. We also need to lose a fair amount of airspeed because we're way out of flaps range. So there we go. Trimming should help with that. Wow, look at that though. Just look at that. Almost want to go back to the outside view now. Let's see if we can do that without falling out of the sky here. I'm telling you folks, I just love it. I absolutely love it. That's just incredible. Yeah, we need more stuff like this, developers. This is just wonderful. I do see some little glitches, some visual glitches on the sand and so on and so forth, but it's so minor that I only caught it for like a half a second there. Alright, now we should start thinking about coming into land. So we are currently on a heading of what? Almost 260, which is really where we should be. Yeah, considering that the reciprocal is 080. So yeah, I feel good about that. We're just over 1,000 feet, which is fine. I don't think this airport has any PAPI lights. Or if it does, it's probably not going to be in the direction that we are landing. But it does have the VASI lights though, and I'm okay with that. Look at those waves crashing on the shore too. That is so sweet. Got tennis courts down there. I'm sorry if I'm acting like, as they say in Jamaica, a dryland tourist, but this is the kind of stuff that I live for in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I want to see parts of the world that I've never been and likely will never go to in real life, but I want to get a good idea of what it does look like in real life. And this is pretty convincing. Inibuilds, you done did good. Alright, let's get into the pattern here. I'm going to drink a little bit of water too. There's one thing about flying and recording. Yeah, my throat starts acting up. Whew. Not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to keep doing this stuff for you on this channel, because it is starting to get to me from time to time. But as long as I still have the energy and the strength to make videos, and as long as Microsoft Flight Simulator will continue playing nice with me, then yeah, I will do that. Alright, let's pop up the little nameplate there at the bottom right corner that tells you what the airport is. So there you go. That's Alderney. Haha! Alright, let's go downwind and start getting into the pattern here. Alright, I'm going to need to bring our speed down. So once again, I'm adjusting the trim. Throttle's probably about halfway right now. And Kara, if you could do me the honors, please. Let's see, nearest airport list, Alderney, tell them
Jersey
we're
Tower,
coming in.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, 1 mile south, 1,000 feet to land.
November 70 Alpha Golf Bravo, Jersey Tower. Altimeter 29.801270 at 16.
Okay,
Enter left downwind runway 26.
sounds good.
Alpha Golf Bravo, wind 270 at 16. Clear to land runway 26.
Make left traffic runway 26 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Did you tell them we're cleared to land? You really should just tell them that we're cleared to land, because that's exactly what I intend to do right now. Alright. Now the fun part is going to be getting us back into flaps range so I can lower the flaps. And looks like we're just about there, so I'm going to start dropping flaps 1 and maybe flaps 2. There we go. Nose is going to start bobbing up. Let's get full flaps going. Now we got to watch that speed, so I want to try and get us like around 70-ish knots as we make our descent. We did kind of bob up about 200 feet there, but I'm not too worried about it. As long as I can see the runway and line us up, then we are good to go. And this, my friends, is why you use VR, because you can judge that distance so much better than you can in the monitor. And according to the VASI lights, looks like we're at the right altitude for our turn, so let's go ahead and turn in. Ooh, and look at that building on that island there. What exactly is that? Hold on. Like, what is that? Is that like a chateau, or is that a prison, or a hotel? I can't imagine it would be a hotel just like sitting on the island like that. Interesting. Alright, but let's go ahead and bring the bird in, because that's what we came here for. We came here to actually land here. So once again, we're trimming ourselves up a bit, trying to get on the right glide slope, which it looks like we already are, so I'm okay with that. Lights are all on. We never actually turned them off, but that is fine by me. Give her a little bit of power because we seem to be below the glide slope. So easy to fly. I love these kinds of aircraft because even though, you know, they are meant for, I guess, more experienced pilots, the way that everything is designed to be so easy. So if you are what you would consider like a novice to flight sim, this is most definitely the kind of aircraft that you could pick up and get really comfortable with in a short period of time. So yeah, kudos to SimWorks Studio on that. Once again, another winner. Alright, start pulling power back here. Okay, see, if I had a BelGeode landing cam, I would have switched to it right now, but SimWorks Studios. I'm just saying. I gotta give you guys heck every now and then, you know that. But I am grateful that you created the livery. I just need to devote a little time to figure out how to install it properly. And then I'll show it off in another video sometime in the near future. Alright, but here we go. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. We're bringing her in. Ah, look at that. Look at that. Drifting a little off center line, but we'll bring her down. Throttle to idle, flare a little. Oh, nice, nice, nice. That's just awesome.
Alpha Golf Bravo, turn next taxiway.
Yeah, we gotta get out of here first. And what in the heck just happened there? Okay, all of a sudden my controls are going nuts. That's never happened before. Wow, it's always something. It is always something. Alright, let's hop back in the cockpit. Let's see where it puts me. Alright, right there's good. Let's go ahead and get our flaps up.
Alpha Golf Bravo, exit runway when able.
Working on it, buddy. Working on it. We gotta make a Yui.
Contact ground on 120.45.
What? We're not even off the runway. What are you
Going
talking
to
about?
120.45 Alpha Golf Bravo.
Okay. You all handle that. I'm going to go ahead and get some lights going here. So, alright. I want strobes off. I want landing lights off. And I want pitot heat off. We're going to pull the mixture back a little bit so that way we don't foul the spark plugs. And this looks to be our entrance right here. So this is where we're going to make our left turn. We're going to head in and call this episode done. So I sincerely hope that you have enjoyed our brief flight from Jersey to Alderney in the fabulous Vans RV-10. This aircraft is available. As always, the link will be in the video description below. It is by SimWorks Studios. The Alderney airport that we are currently visiting is by Inibuilds, and a link to that will also be in the video description below. But yeah, I love doing stuff like this, especially on the weekends, you know, just hopping in a bird like this in Microsoft Flight Simulator and just flying to two places that I've never been before. And this is one of the perfect aircraft to do that in because of the fact that it's so, dare I say, user-friendly as far as, you know, flying it. Maybe not so much with the GPS figuring all of that out, but I think that's more due to me needing to really spend some time with the manual, shall we say. Alright, but right about here looks good, so we're going to pull ourselves up just past the keep clear section, and we're going to park it right about here. And I also love the fact that the apron is bumpy. It's not a level apron here. You can tell it kind of undulates, which is really cool. But that's it, folks. That is it. So I am going to pull our prop pitch down. We'll pull our mixture down, which will of course turn off the aircraft's engine. And we can also close the fuel. So there we go. Alright, so there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. This has been BelGeode. I have been flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And I will remind you, we are currently at World Update 12. We are expecting Sim Update 12 to come relatively soon, probably this month, as of the time of recording, March 2023. But we'll see what happens there. If you enjoy what you've seen, please feel free to give me a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. We will be back in the very near future with some more Microsoft Flight Simulator goodness. In the meantime, be sure to check out the aircraft and even the scenery that I've been showcasing for you today. Alrighty, folks. That's it from me. I will talk to you all really soon. Ciao!